Good morning, everyone. I'm Marion, the Inappropriate Artist. So, New Year's Eve, I put out a Pondering, and I was thinking about it yesterday, and I decided this morning that I would go back to doing that again every once in a while. I used to do it more in the beginning before I had the van, before I was moving around, when I was still dreaming of my van. I have had a lot to think about in the last few days being here in this spot that is so quiet and so peaceful, and it's been a good renewal for myself. I get distracted by the people. I had a lot of people to visit in Florida, and which was good. I needed the interaction. I needed to socialize again. I, however, began to lose sight of my goals and was distracted from work that was on the table. Granted, a lot of that had to do with the van trouble and making sure that I got that taken care of. But now that that is taken care of, I was able to get back to work and back to painting. That is something that is really the goal of this journey, right? It's to paint all 50 states. And I've spent a lot of time in Florida, and it is time for me to move on from Florida. And I'm getting closer to that, although I think it's going to be probably still a few more days to a week before I get out of the state, just because it's so big. And even where I am, I'm heading up to go to the grocery store and take care of some things that are necessary. But before I do that, I have to rework a painting that I did for somebody. I'm learning as I go. So with commissions, more conversation needs to happen. I am learning that just because I see something one way doesn't mean that it is what the person is wanting to see. And I know that was a deep-seated anxiety for me in doing commissions, but I also realized that I work in a medium that enables me to make those corrections. So it's really not that difficult. And I'll do that today. Take care of that, and I can get that painting off the board and start the next one. And the next one is another one that causes me a little bit, but I'm finding that feeling of angst is something that I know, and I also know that is the exact same feeling that I get when I'm excited about something. So inside my body, right? My body reacts the same way to fear as it does to excitement. And I can choose which one it's going to be. And so I am choosing excitement. And that part of it is something that enables me to be freer in the work, and I am looking forward to that. I did this little painting of where I am the other day, and I find it incredibly poignant to where I am in my journey. It was a rainy day the other day, and I love rainy days. You know, they can cause me a little bit of anxiety because the van leaks. But I had tarped up, so I knew that my bed and my clothes and all of my personal belongings were safe, and I only had to watch the front corner of the van, and I was able to take care of that. But in the meantime, I was working on this little painting, and after I finished it, I realized how prophetic it was. So this is called The Encroaching Storm, and I see this beautiful tree of providence protecting this younger tree, and this younger tree even protecting this younger tree. And all of this beautiful protection reminds me of how guided I am in this journey, and allowing my still small voice, which I've mentioned a couple of times, that beautiful little voice inside me, to be heard. Because that is my guide, right? That's my guide. And it encourages me to continue forward. And to allow myself to accept the challenges put before me. So I recently finished a commission of a dog, and I sent her the images, and she's like, oh, it's great, but she's gray, not brown. This is digital photography, right? So sometimes the lighting can change the color of things. And so this is what I mean about communication and commissions, right? I needed to ask more questions. So when she sent me pictures of her puppy's true colors, one of them came back brown, just like the first image I saw. And then the other one, she did more close up and I could see the gray. So I can make the adjustment, and that'll work out. But it could have discouraged me. I could have decided that I'm no good at this and I should just quit. And the old me would have done that. The old me would have walked away from the challenge. But part of this journey is I am learning my craft. I'm learning how to paint, and I am getting better and better with every painting I complete. So I'll share with you. I mean, it still came out beautiful, even though it's not the colors of the dog. I'm really pleased with it. So this is the finished doggy. There he is. There she is. And I'll just do some adjusting of her color, retoning, turning the browns into grays and silvery grays. And maybe I'll do some adjusting in the boulder beneath her. But we'll see. Once I do the dog, I'll see if I need to adjust so that she stands out from where she's sitting. And when I did this, I the original image is her on a couch. And I went through my friend's Facebook in order to find, she's an avid hiker. So I went through and found a shot from one of her hikes, and I kind of made that the backdrop. So it would be two things that she loves. And that's not always going to be the case, right? You know, but because I completed this, I was asked by someone else to do their dogs, and I sent her this image. I said, please let me finish this first, and I'll send you the image, and you can be the judge. And I got another commission out of it, which is really exciting to me. It still scares me, you know, but I think it's a healthy fear. It's not one that is paralyzing. It's one that is I can learn from and is teaching. You know, I've always known that the opportunities that come to me are meant to grow me. And I heard a few years ago this wonderful expression, you know, gifts in unusual wrapping, or ugly wrapping, however you want to phrase it. This one is more the unusual. Sometimes it's ugly. But gifts in unusual wrapping. I never would have thought that this was the direction I would head in. Ever. I thought, I'm just going to be a landscape painter. And that's it. And this is showing me that my own thoughts are often limiting, and that if I can be open and willing, honest with myself, open to the opportunity, and willing to do what it takes, right? I can achieve things I never thought possible. And so for me, that's what this is. This is achieving something I never thought possible. I thought, I can't do that. And it turns out that I can. And it took, you know, homework in order, I put that in quotation marks because I really don't like homework. I was not a person who did well in school. Very confining, very rigid, very little freedom to express myself. But this is school of my own making, isn't it? You know, so that's what this journey has been about for me. So it's not just school for art, although that is certainly the mainstay for me. I am schooling myself in so many ways. You know, I thought for a while that I was not going to continue to walk down the same road, and that I could walk past that road if it came my way. And I started walking down that road again. But because of the work I've done, and because of the healing I've allowed in my life, I recognized I was on the road. So I didn't fall in the hole. Now y'all are going, what's she talking about? Hole, road. Well, there's this wonderful poem that I revisit often. And hang on, I'm going to dig that out. So this is a poem by Portia Nelson. And I'll put the acknowledgement below in the description as well. And I really hope YouTube doesn't pull this. Because I'm not sure how they feel about reading poems on YouTube. I know with music there's copyrights and all that fun stuff, but I do own this book, so hopefully it won't. So the poem is called Autobiography in 5 Short Chapters. 1. I walk down the street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I am lost. I am helpless. It isn't my fault. It takes forever to find a way out. 2. I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. I fall in again. I can't believe I'm in the same place. But it isn't my fault. It still takes a long time to get out. 3. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it there. I still fall in. It's a habit. But my eyes are open. I know where I am. It is my fault. I get out immediately. 4. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. 5. I walk down another street. So when I say I walked down the same street, I did. But I saw the hole, I walked around it. But in that recognition, I could also see how I was in some ways going backwards. And it woke me up. And I'm grateful for the wake up. So grateful for the wake up. And that's what helped me to choose renewing myself in my recovery. And I've shared that before, that I'm in recovery. This is damp. As are most things in this van. That's part of living in a van. Oh, Nugget. What are you doing? Yeah, so in life, I think we all have things that are that hole, right? That we continually end up going back to, even though it's incredibly unhealthy for us. And it is habit. And sometimes it's training. You know, sometimes we were trained that way. It's not an excuse. It's a reality. Recognition and acknowledgement are really important. So I recognize and acknowledge that this, for me, is an old habit. And it is something that I learned. But I don't have to continue it. I can pick back up my torch of recovery that brings me light in my life and move forward. I don't have to spend hours ruminating on it. It doesn't take me as long as it used to recognize and to correct my direction. So I am in the process, right? I'm always in the process. I mean, this is a lifetime of healing, a lifetime of growth. This is a never-ending road for me until this life is over, right? And even then, who knows? Because I don't know. But No buts. No buts. I am grateful that I have people in my life that I can turn to help me to continue to move forward on this path and help me maintain a direction that is healthy for me. And I reached out and recently asked someone to be my guide, even though it's a temporary guide during this time of COVID, right? And because I'm on the road and I don't have the ability to do something with regularity the same way that I used to. Now that I am doing everything on the phone, it took a while to get used to, but I am beginning to see how it's possible. And this person is someone who has known me from the beginning of my decision. And for that, I'm really grateful, right? I think it was important for me to choose somebody who knew me knew me when I was full of doubt, full of fear, full of emotions I didn't understand, and witnessed the understanding growing within me, and witnessed my growth and healing from the beginning. This person can call me out, and that's really important to me. So I guess, for me today, this pondering, because that's all this is, right? My words aren't the be all end all, and for anyone but me. And maybe I do this just so I can talk through what's going on in here and making it out loud. And then by putting it up, I make myself accountable. And I think that's really important, to be accountable. I want to continue growing. I want to continue healing. And I want to be able to be there for people in a healthy way. I don't wish to be codependent anymore. Yeah. And I don't have to be. It's the beauty of choice, right? And healing and growth. And I'm not going to cut my legs off and say, oh my God, I failed, and now I have to start all the way back at the beginning. I don't. I can look at everything I've learned and I can say, wow, I hit a bump in the road. It was a big bump. For me, it was a big bump. But not one that was life-threatening. And I'm really grateful for that. I'm really grateful for this opportunity to be able to share with all of you. And if it helps you in any way, I'm so glad. But I don't do this for you. I do it for me. The residual effects are a bonus, right? The important thing is that I get the message. and that I continue to move forward. Thanks for joining me today, everyone. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a blessed, healing rest of the day, and that we are all able to continue to take that one step forward, even if it's just a tiny little baby step. Because baby steps are still steps, right? Take care, everyone. See you next time.